Okay, at this time, I'll call the Budget and Purchasing Committee meeting to order and ask Ashley if she will to call roll, please.
Kirby. Here. Lewis. Here. Mitchell.
Here.
Moon. Here. Samples.
Here. This time, I'll ask for a roll for the emergency announcement, please.
Before we get started, let me read the emergency evacuation procedures. In the event of an emergency evacuation, an alarm will sound. Everyone should exit the building by way of the nearest stairwell in a safe and effective manner. If the nearest stairwell is blocked by smoke, use the other stairwell. Do not use the elevator. Once you have reached the main floor, follow the exit signs to exit the building and quickly proceed away from the building. Please be mindful of others evacuating and of emergency vehicles.
Public input on items on the agenda. Seeing none. Item D is purchasing, which is information only for the sole source purchases and awarded of the bids. Item E, y'all have copies of the minutes that have been forwarded in your pack. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes as written? Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? I'll ask for a voice vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? I'll declare the motion passed. Item F is finance increases and transfers. F1, F1A, School Fund 141. Ask Troy, please come up. I'm sorry I didn't get back with you on the phone call. I'm sorry about that, Troy.
A and B.
Okay. There's been a motion and I have a second. Is there any discussion? F1A only, forwarded on. Any discussion? Okay, I'll ask for a roll call vote, please.
Kirby. Yes. Lewis. Yes. Mitchell.
Yes.
Moon. Yes. Samples.
Yes.
Motion's passed.
Item F1B, School Fund 141, $59,420 on special education.
I'll move that.
You move it? Have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Should we move that subject to approval by the school board?
Absolutely.
By school board 11/7/13.
Okay.
That would be in order, I think, yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Move on after approval by the school board, correct?
School board meets this Thursday night.
Yes, sir.
Move it based on the approval.
Okay. I'll ask for a roll call vote, please.
Based on the school board's recommendation.
Kirby. Yes. Lewis. Yes. Mitchell.
Yes.
Moon.
Yes.
Samples.
Yes.
Motion's passed.
Item F2A, also schools. This is transfers, $105,300 to teaching assistants. Do I hear a motion?
Move that we send it to work session pending approval by the Blount County School Board.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion?
Troy, do you want to just talk about why this is here?
Sure, I can. It is a transfer. $105,300 to come from the unemployment compensation line to salary lines for our TAs, teaching assistants, that are classified positions, adding back 5 paid holidays from what we previously cut in the budget of 13 days from those employees. Initially in the budget, and there's 2 parts to this because where the money's coming from, but the board cut 13 days of pay from all TAs within the Blount County school system. subsequent to the school starting in last month, the board requested to add 5 of those days back. They were the only class of employees that were cut days in the budget specifically. No other employees were actually cut pay. The unemployment compensation, the monies that we're requesting to transfer to pay for that, is a result of, I had added 120,000 new increased unemployment compensation to pay for unemployment benefits in anticipating a number of layoffs of TAs. When it got to the end, we eliminated 50 or 52 TA positions in the budget, and those are still eliminated. We had to issue 22 layoff notices that we sent to different TAs to make that final happen. Once the year ended, and primarily beginning in late July and August, we began to have some of the existing TAs that were still there quit, go find another job, but they left us. And what the board asked us to do when we laid off those folks is when we had openings to go back to those persons that we had sent layoff notices to and offer them those part-time jobs that came available once school started. And that's what we did. We offered all 22 persons a job back, most of which accepted and came back to work for us. A few did not accept, but I think they went on and got jobs elsewhere. So at the end of the day, we only had maybe a few weeks that persons were actually drawing unemployment benefits. So we're not going to end up paying out $120,000 in unemployment benefits. So that's where the money that the board is getting to shift and pay for these 5 paid holidays. So does that answer the question? Okay. Let's see. We budgeted 170, so if we're moving 105, about 65,000. Last year we only paid, I think, about 19,000. Now the first 3 months of this year we were running about 3,500 to 4,000. So if I project that out, and I think it'll come down because I think those were related to these initial layoffs. You know, I'm looking at $40,000 to $50,000 if that holds the rest of the year. So I think we still have enough money in that account to cover that. And just to emphasize, the TAs, we cut 13 days. These are adding 5 days back, but they still have been cut 8 days of pay from what they were receiving in the past.
How many weeks TA actually, when you lay them off, how many weeks could they actually drop?
For unemployment?
The same thing as state.
I think it depends on if there are any extensions by federal government. I don't know what the minimum weeks are, but they can draw for so many weeks, and then I don't know what that is. I don't know what that number is. I wanted to say 13 or 26, but I can't remember which. But the feds can come in and extend those draws, which they've been doing over the last few years. Well, that would still cost me money because we're self-insured for unemployment.
Troy, you said earlier that you all had actually laid 52 teachers' aides or educational assistants off.
We didn't lay all of them off because a lot of them had quit prior to the end of the June 30, so we just eliminated those positions. We eliminated a total of 52 TA positions.
So from 2012 to 2013, you're 52 teachers' aides short from what you were in 2012.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
No, we're still. Yes.
So the ones that you're putting back on or just replacing ones that are quitting? You're just one for one there.
We're just adding, we're going back and paying those who are still with us, the remaining TAs, 5 additional days.
Okay. Any more discussion? I'll ask for a roll call vote.
Kirby? Yes. Lewis? Yes. Mitchell?
Yes.
Moon?
Yes.
Samples?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you. Item G, discussion and possible action. One is grant procedures. Randy?
If you'll flip to page 20 and look at the grant procedures, they've been modified. We brought this to you a few months ago. It went on to commission, was approved. Since then, we've had some practical application on some grants, and we're proposing that we modify our grant procedures, specifically what's highlighted in yellow on item 2 and item 3. Hopefully this will clarify some of the struggles that departments have experienced and the commission's experienced. In a nutshell, if it's going to require county funding on a grant application, this body has to approve it, and then it will go on to the full commission. If it doesn't require county funding, you will see it at this level as the budget committee as information only. That's basically item 2. Item 3, if we have repetitive or repeating grants that don't really require an application, and it might be something that all counties get, maybe from the state or from the federal government through the state, then we're suggesting that those be automatically be approved by the accounting department, and then they will come to this body as information only. So if it requires county funding in total or in part, this body has to approve, and it goes on to the full commission. If it requires no county funding, we're suggesting that this body see it as approve it and information only then beyond that. And if it's something that's routine from the state or the federal government that requires no match or contribution, then we'd be allowed to approve it at the staff level, and it comes to you as information only.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Do I hear any discussion?
Randy, is there any timing on, we've gone down this road before. The grant's been applied for on June 1. It's come to commission in July. It's a matching grant. What remedy do you have for an office holder or a department head? Department head, I think you can handle that, but what about an office holder who's already applied?
Well, ultimately, this body's got to do the budget amendment. So that's really our ace in the hole, to make sure that nothing gets spent that's not approved. So even if that happened, and I'm sure that something could happen like that, we've already experienced it. So this doesn't fix it in the future. But ultimately, this body has to approve a budget amendment to spend the funds that they get.
Randy, if we've applied for a grant and for some reason budget committee didn't approve it or commission didn't approve it, how do you go and apply?
How do you go unapply? Well, if you don't get the grant match, or we don't satisfy the conditions of it, they'll unapply it for us.
We were just notified the county didn't intend to.
Yes. Yes.
The problem with that is, when you're submitting that grant application, you have to say that you have to commit in the submission of that grant application that you're going to meet those funds. And going back to what Mike's asking right there, how do you submit a grant saying that you're going to put the funding in there, the matching funds, and then if it gets turned down, how do you go about?
I've actually had that happen before, and when when we said in a former life, and we said, we're not doing it because the legislative body hadn't approved it. And we sent them a letter telling them thank you, but no thank you. The legislative body didn't approve it. Therefore, we were turning it down. And I can tell you, the federal agencies and the state agencies shop for places to dole the money out. And I've been on that end where they call you up, don't y'all need this? We got some money we need to get appropriated before the end of the fiscal year. Can you all apply for this? I've had it happen more times than I can count on my fingers and toes. So it's not just us. It's the people who have the money that are calling and asking because they don't want to lose that appropriation for the following year.
And my only point is to make sure that we make this clear to office holders that this is the new policy so that we don't get in that position where we have to go to state.
And we'll circulate it and make sure they're aware of the policy if the commission approves it.
Because we don't want to get back in the Little River Railroad situation.
Yes.
Okay. I guess we need to go ahead and vote on that.
Kirby? Lewis? Mitchell?
Yes.
Moon? Samples?
Yes.
The motion passed.
Item G2 is the City of Louisville interlocal agreement for animal control.
I'll move it on the floor.
Okay. Have a motion and a second.
Then I would offer an amendment to this. In the actual agreement, under the second whereas, it says, whereas the city desires to contract with the county to enforce animal control laws and resolutions in the state of Tennessee, and any animal control resolution or ordinance hereinafter enacted by, and currently it says city, within the geographical boundaries of the city. I'd like to change the hereinafter enacted by city to hereinafter enacted by the county within the geographical boundaries of the city or the county.
Also, the resolve portion
Let's
item.
see, yeah.
Say that again, please, Commissioner.
It is in the actual interlocal agreement. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm used to it being turned on by the chair. In the actual interlocal agreement, the second whereas, where it says hereinafter enacted by the city, it should read hereinafter enacted by the county. Did you find it?
Yes.
It'll be the last line in that second whereas.
Yes, that's correct. It should be the ordinances enacted by the county. And then in item 1 would read the same. Let's see, where is that now? Yeah, it's the same phrase in the third line, hereinafter enacted by the county. And then the resolved. I got it, yeah. Okay, that's it.
I'll second the motion.
Okay. Have a motion and a second. And exactly what we're doing is saying that any laws that are adopted by the city of Louisville will be those laws which are in place by the Blount County for animal control.
Right.
Okay. All right, I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? I'll ask for a roll call vote, please.
Kirby? Lewis? Mitchell?
Yes.
Moon?
Yes.
Samples?
Yes.
Motion's passed.
Item H.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
those changes will be reflected in what goes to the full to the work
Commission.
session.
Yes.
Or do we need to make a motion to send it on with the change?
That's what we
Yeah,
did.
we,
I didn't know whether you just wrote
Yeah.
it on.
Craig drafted this, didn't he? So
yes.
we can get him changed.
Yes, another point, has this gone before the city council? We just want to make sure they get the
approve it, then it go to them. Okay, item H, finance report. This is for information only. Randy, do you have any comments on that at all? No. Item I, I'll ask for any input on items not on the agenda. Yes, Linda.
Thank you. I'm Linda King with Citizens for Blount County's Future. I just want to make a real quick comment on this grant procedure. I still think that any grant that's being approved should come before this body, before the county commission, before they're allowed to apply for it. Because there's a lot more discussion that goes on beforehand. If it's already applied for and they get the grant, I realize it has to come back for you for approval. But by that point, more than likely you're just going to go yes, 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 and give the approval and not have a lot of discussion. But also, I think you need to be really wary. You're saying that any grant that has no funding from the county attached to it is only going to be for information only. And even when there is no funding from the county, the state or federal government does not give us grants without strings attached. And I think we need to look closely at them. I think the commission needs to be involved in that. I don't think it should just be a department saying it's something we automatically do or it's something that there's no match required. I think it's something that needs to be discussed because grants are still taxpayers' money that are coming back to us. And like I said, there's always strings attached. So I think it's something that you don't want to just give away your, the ability to have some input on this stuff. Thank you.
Yes, go ahead, Randy.
The point is well made, and just to remind everybody, I would give you an example that you're not giving up total control. What we're doing is we're trying to not create problems for ourselves. Perfect example is we've had grants come to us for the election commission, for example, where the state is providing resources for its election commission statewide for computers. There are no strings attached other than they have to use them. That would come to you. You wouldn't even have to know about the grant. But what you would have to know about is they can't spend the money till we bring you a budget amendment back. So you're going to be able to ultimately have the final say on it. And at that point, to Mike's question earlier, we could say, sorry, we don't want it. They've applied for it, it's been awarded, but if you chose not to accept it, you wouldn't be appropriating the money for it. So you have two shots at it.
If they have a specification for a certain computer, we do have a service contract arrangement that we feel like is technical, we'd still be able to turn it down to you.
Absolutely. I just want you to be mindful of that. You still are not giving up your appropriation authority as a committee or the commission.